Hey folks, welcome to this roundup of the UK and world bird news for the week ending the 5th of October 2025. I'm going to add this to the start of the shows from now on. Apologies for any pronunciation errors, either with bird names, foreign words, or the names of countries. I endeavour to look up and check everything I'm unsure about beforehand, but I will absolutely be getting some things wrong. Let's start with a mega, up in Shetland, of course. Where else? A Siberian thrush. Then we have a yellow-browed bunting trapped and ringed in Dorset. No further sightings after flying into the bushes. It breeds in eastern Siberia and is migratory, wintering in central and southern China. It is a very rare wanderer to Western Europe. Its appearance is very similar to the reed bunting but slightly smaller. A red-breasted flycatcher at Worth Marshes put in a brief appearance earlier on Monday, but the one at Dungeness has been showing consistently well for several days. We've just had a big influx of Leach's storm petrels right along the west coast of the UK and Ireland. Multiple locations from Cornwall right up to Scotland may be caused by the storms at the latter end of the week. There's a colony in Baccalieu Island off eastern Canada which has around 1.95 million pairs, so it's no wonder a few of those could have been blown this way. A few other notables include several sightings of semi-palmated sandpipers, white-rumped sandpipers, pectoral sandpipers and barred warblers. A little influx of pallid harriers seemed to be underway. Down south, of course, it was going to be Dungeness, another two in Keyhaven, Hampshire, Glamorgan in South Wales, and up in Dundee, Scotland. These are very similar in appearance to hen harriers. They breed in southern Russia, Central Asia and Kazakhstan, and winter South Asia, India, Sri Lanka, Africa and parts of the Middle East. They are among the rare harriers that sometimes breed in Europe, particularly in Hungary and parts of Eastern Europe, where populations are carefully monitored. Right, a story about tagged eagles disappearing. What's going on? A number of golden eagles fitted with satellite tags have ceased transmitting suddenly, often without any remains being found. Many of these cases cluster in upland mountainous area managed for grouse shooting. There is growing suspicion of human interference. Because tags stop transmitting without failure, bodies or tags are not recovered, and in some cases there is physical evidence, blood, feathers, signs of possible shooting. There is a strong suspicion that many of these birds are being illegally killed. Some individual cases more concrete. Merrick, a female golden eagle translocated in 2022, last seen Weston or Fountain Hall in October. After investigation, Police Scotland believed she was shot. Feathers, blood at roost site, tag removed. Angus Glenn's case, a young satellite tagged eagle fitted, 2022, disappeared in May 2024. Last known location was on a grouse moor. The tag stopped, neither bird nor tag was found. The RSPB believe it has likely been unlawfully killed. Studies confirm the pattern. A government report 2004 to 2016 tracked birds found that about 1 in 3 tagged golden eagles died under suspicious circumstances. The SNH, Scottish Natural Heritage, report identified clusters and patterns of disappearances, particularly associated with land primarily used for driven grouse shooting. Legal and policy responses. There have been investigations by Police Scotland, National Wildlife Crime Unit, RSPB, etc. New legislation in March 2024, laws were introduced so that illegal activity on grouse moors could result in losing their licence to operate. Grouse moor licensing is being debated, implemented to bring more oversight. So what's not clear yet? There are challenges. In many cases, there is no physical evidence beyond the broken signal, so proving illegal killing is difficult. Poachers or perpetrators often remove tags or bodies. Remote terrain and lack of witnesses make investigations hard. Opposition concern from landowners, gatekeeping interests, with debates about evidence, bias and how far regulations and licensing should go. For example, a QC, Ronnie Clancy, criticised earlier reports for possible bias. Okay, let's move on to some more sightings. Horniman's redpoll, observed at Norwich, Shetland. This Arctic species is a notable sighting. Pacific golden plover, spotted at Seasalter, Kent. This Asian species is a rare visitor. A white thrush, spotted on Sanday, Orkney. This rare Siberian migrant is a major highlight for UK birders. Rustic bunting, found on St Martin's, Isle of Scilly. This Eurasian species is a scarce autumn visitor. Wilson's phalarope, present at Porthhellick Pool, St Mary's, Scilly. This North American wader is a significant rarity. Another new shrike has shown up in Suffolk, in the form of a red-tailed shrike or Turkestan shrike as some may know it. Carrying on from last week, the UK and Ireland are still seeing huge numbers of glossy ibis. Also in large numbers are Sabine's gulls along most coastal areas. Grey phalarope numbers are not far behind, as well as their close cousins, the redneck phalaropes. A Siberian stonechat put on a good show for twitchers on the Durham coast. They are normally found between northeastern Europe and temperate Asia, wintering south of that range. A spotted sandpiper on St Agnes Scilly, this American shorebird is a notable sighting. Redwing sightings are now being reported all the way up in the Highlands of Scotland and down to Richmond Park in London. Long-billed dowitcher found at County Wexford, this North American wader is a significant rarity. 3 ring-necked duck have been showing consistently on Anchill Island in Ireland. A Caspian tern in Northumberland is still present. Citrine wagtail in Shetland, the Lerwick area. Greater short-toed lark up in Snettisham in Norfolk, moving around the coastal park. The Forster's tern is back at Warnham, Dorset. A spotted crake has been showing well at Sandwich, Kent all week, just slightly east of last month's sighting. Could it be the same bird? The odd hoopoe is still being sighted, and I'm yet to see one in the UK. I've seen many around Europe, so I've got my fill. An unusually high number of crossbill are suddenly being spotted in Surrey. On October 1st and 2nd, over 50 crossbills were observed on one of the Surrey heaths, indicating a second eruption since late March. Farley Green, Surrey on September the 28th, 10 crossbill were seen flying south. Effingham Forest, Surrey, on September 29th, a crossbill was spotted at Dick Fox Common. Cobham Common, Surrey, on September 25th, 19 crossbills were observed with an increasing number present in the area. A Ross's goose has been showing well in Lancashire, small, white, with a short, stubby bluish-grey bill that lacks the grinning pouch seen in snow geese. Has black wingtips that are visible in flight, often nicknamed the little snow goose because of its resemblance but smaller. Breeds in the Arctic, mainly in Canada, winters in the southern US and northern Mexico. Sometimes hybridizes with snow geese, which can make identification tricky in the field. The end of the week saw a golden oriole show up at Shinewater Country Park in Eastbourne. Then down the road from there, a European serin flew over Hastings. A couple of immature white-tailed eagle sightings, one up at Sizewell in Suffolk and a couple in Wiltshire. Now some worrying news about hen harrier shot in Yorkshire. On the Yorkshire Dales National Park, a young hen harrier named Sita vanished under suspicious circumstances. Sita had been fitted with a satellite tag in the summer of 2024 after fledging from her nest in the forest of Bowland. The tag tracked her movements as she settled on moorland between Reeth and Redmere, but on February 27, 2025, the signal suddenly stopped. When a tagged hen harrier dies naturally, the tag continues to transmit, providing critical data. A sudden unexplained loss of signal, especially when neither the bird nor the tag is recovered, is usually a grim indicator that the bird was shot. Authorities, including the North Yorkshire Police, the National Wildlife Crime Unit and the RSPB's Hen Harrier Task Force, investigated, but months later there are no leads. Sita's disappearance marks the 29th suspicious loss of a tagged hen harrier in the Dales since 2015. The grim pattern reflects the ongoing threat these birds face on grouse moors. Conservationists warn that without tackling this, the future of the hen harriers in the UK remains perilously uncertain. Listeners who might have information about the incident are urged to contact the RSPB or the local authorities. Every small effort counts in protecting these magnificent birds. House sparrows' collapse continues. A new commentary laments that since 1996, the UK has lost some 22 million house sparrows. In places like central London, populations are down by up to 90%. Turtle dove hunting ban lifted. The EU has lifted a moratorium on hunting European turtle doves, allowed in Spain, France and Italy, after it has contributed to a 25% population rebound in parts of Western Europe. Inspired by success in Berlin, conservationists propose reintroducing goshawks into UK cities like Leicester and London to help restore some of the ecological balance by controlling urban mesopredators like crows and magpies. Around the world, glossy ibis returns to Kathmandu Valley after 181 years. Birdwatchers recorded a glossy ibis flying over wetlands near the Manora River on the 6th of September 2025. It hadn't been documented in Kathmandu Valley in almost 2 centuries, so this is considered a major rediscovery vagrant occurrence. Southern emu wren under threat in Australia. Conservationists are raising alarms over the endangered southern emu wren, subspecies on Irie Peninsula, South Australia. A planned rocket launch facility, Whalers Way, could destroy up to 24 hectares of the bird's critical habitat. The bird is tiny, under 7 grams, poorly suited to high flight and lives in the heathland, where habitat continuity is important. Its population is already small, fewer than 1,000 individuals. New Zealand's only native falcon, the Kerriera, has been voted the Bird of the Year 2025. It's threatened, estimated 5,000 to 8,000 individuals left, facing pressures from habitat loss, introduced predators like stoats and cats, and human hazards like power lines and netting. Bird of legend sighting in Malaysia. The Chinese crested tern, very rare, critically endangered, was seen off the coast of Sarawak. It's the first confirmed sighting in Malaysia since 1913. A pectoral sandpiper has been recorded for the first time ever in Bengal at Kargil Beach. The elusive and endangered white-eared night heron was camera-trapped in Namdapha National Park in northeastern India. It's a notable detection given its rarity and cryptic habits. In Hawaii, the Guam kingfisher, formerly extinct in the wild, has laid eggs for the first time in nearly 40 years after a reintroduction program. There's a big milestone for one of the world's rarest doves. At Whipsnade Zoo in Bedfordshire, keepers have welcomed their first ever Socorro dovechick. This species is extinct in the wild, with only around 200 individuals left in captivity worldwide. The proud parents were moved to Whipsnade from London Zoo earlier this summer, and just a few weeks later their chick hatched, a hopeful sign for the future of the critically endangered bird. With continued breeding success, the long-term goal is to reintroduce the Socorro dove back to its native island habitat off the coast of Mexico. For now, the tiny chick at Whipsnade represents a very real chance of survival for a species once thought to be lost forever. Seabird and native forest recovery after rat removal. In 2024, an effort was made to eradicate invasive rats from Bicker Atoll and Jammo Islet in the Marshall Islands. A monitoring mission in 2025 showed strong ecological recovery. Native seabird populations are rebounding. There are hundreds of chicks in colonies, e.g. 2,000 sooty terns where there have been none, and thousands of seedlings of Pisona grandis, a tree important for the seabird nesting, are now growing where previously there were none. To protect the gains from the rat removal and to link the land and sea conservation, a large marine protected area was designated in January 2025 around Bicker Atoll, covering around 48,000 square kilometres. This helps ensure that the restored terrestrial ecosystems contribute to healthier marine habitats through nutrient runoff, etc. And to round off, the Indian roller, commonly called Nilkantha in Bengal Calcutta, in English the Indian roller. It is protected under Schedule 2 of India's Wildlife Protection Act. Recent studies suggest its population has declined by about 30% over the past 12 years across India. The bird is culturally and religiously significant in parts of India. For example, in Bengal, it is seen as auspicious to see or release the bird during certain festivals. The ritual involves releasing live birds, Indian rollers, during Jashami. It is believed seeing or releasing the rollers bring good fortune. Some households, however, have moved to using symbolic birds, replicas made of clay or shola, to avoid harming live birds. Because the Indian roller is a protected species, releasing or capturing them for a ritual can violate the Wildlife Protection Act. Forest officials and conservation groups, HEAL, Birdwatchers Society, have filed complaints. Enforcement is variable. Some families continue to practice sighting tradition. Others have shifted away once they have learned it was illegal. Conservationists are urging the IUCN to reassess the bird's status given the population declines from currently least concern to reflect these new threats. Okay, folks, I hope you enjoyed all that. That was a big one for this week, and I will speak to you again next week.